Hi everyone. The planetary alignment for the week beginning May 4th brings a time of dynamic communication, rapid change, and a deep restructuring of how we take action. Venus in Gemini highlights curiosity in relationships, a desire for mental stimulation, and flexible social connections. Mercury in Taurus grounds communication, where it's steady, practical, and focused on tangible progress. Meanwhile, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune in Aries fuel a surge of pioneering energy. We're all being pushed to act, but also to build new structures and take responsibility for our independence. And Jupiter in Cancer softens that drive, adding emotional depth nurturing and a call to create security, both personally and collectively. So it's a paradox. Bold action meets a need for stability, and curiosity is balanced by practicality. Here's how the week looks for each sign. Fellow Capricorn, this week act boldly, but don't lose sight. The week beginning May 4th brings inspiration and emotional openness. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Queen of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. The Queen of Cups is all about emotional depth, compassion, and intuition. She's a calm, nurturing presence, deeply in tune with her feelings. The Page of Cups, on the other hand, is a messenger of creative inspiration and emotional openness. There's a childlike curiosity, a call to explore your feelings. And the Knight of Wands is a bold, passionate energy. This is someone charging ahead with excitement, ambition, and a bit of fiery risk-taking. Putting these cards together, it's a powerful blend of emotional insight, creative potential, and bold action. The Queen's wisdom anchors you in self-awareness. The Page awakens a fresh emotional or creative spark, and the Knight propels you forward with courage. Venus in Gemini will spark a more social, curious vibe in your relationships, so expect lighter, more intellectual connections. Mercury in Taurus grounds your thinking, so you'll likely be practical and steady, especially with planning. The big surge, though, is Mars, Saturn, and Neptune in Aries. This is pushing you towards bold personal action. You may feel a strong call to pioneer a new career step or restructure your boundaries. And with Jupiter in Cancer, your emotional resilience and focus on home and security will be amplified, so balance that drive with self-care and reflection. So overall this week, stay grounded in your emotional wisdom, even as you explore new creative possibilities. Let the Queen of Cups guide you to tune in your intuition, but also give yourself permission, like the Page of Cups, to experiment without overthinking. Then, channel the Knight of Wands by taking small, purposeful risks. Act boldly, but don't lose sight of your long-term goals. This is a call to trust your intuition, stay open to new emotional experiences, and then take decisive steps towards your dreams with confidence. Aquarius. This week, let your mind explore new ideas. The week beginning May 4th brings cycles, change, and fate. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Page of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. The Page of Swords is all about curiosity, mental agility, and a thirst for knowledge. It's like a spark of insight, but sometimes it's still about learning. The King of Cups, in contrast, is emotional mastery. He's calm, empathetic, and fully in command of his feelings. And the Wheel of Fortune represents cycles, change, and fate. It's a reminder that things are always in flux, and a new turn in the road is expected. Putting these cards together, it's a narrative of conscious evolution. The Page of Swords urges you to stay curious and open to new perspectives, while the King of Cups grounds you in emotional maturity, so you don't get swept up by every passing thought. Meanwhile, the Wheel of Fortune reminds you that life is always moving. So by balancing intellectual curiosity with emotional wisdom, you can navigate a turning point. Venus in Gemini will bring a sense of intellectual charm to your social connections. You might feel a pull towards new ideas, community, or playful conversations. Mercury in Taurus will ground your thinking, so you'll likely be practical, especially with your long-term plans or financial goals. The trio of Mars, Saturn, and Neptune in Aries will stir a burst of ambition and innovation in your career or public life. This is a time to take bold steps, even if they feel slightly out of the box. And Jupiter in Cancer will soften all of that drive by bringing an emotional focus on home, family, and your sense of belonging. So overall this week, stay curious, but also grounded in emotional wisdom. Let your mind explore new ideas, but don't rush. Give yourself space to integrate them emotionally. Trust that life is moving in cycles, so even if things feel uncertain, stay adaptable. By balancing your intellectual agility with emotional stability, you'll be able to pivot gracefully as opportunities unfold. Pisces. This week, don't get lost in daydreams. The week beginning May 4th brings a moment of feeling disengaged. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Empress, the Four of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. The Empress is the archetype of abundance, nurturing, and creative power. She invites you to connect with your inner fertility, self-love, and natural flow. The Four of Cups, in contrast, is a card of introspection. It often shows a moment of feeling disengaged or stuck, where opportunities are being missed because of a sense of dissatisfaction. And the Knight of Pentacles is slow, steady, and diligent. This is the worker who stays committed to the long game, methodical, and patient. Putting these cards together, it's a call to balance introspection with steady progress. The Empress invites you to open to your creative and emotional abundance, but the Four of Cups warns you not to stay too passive. There's a chance you could miss a gift if you're too withdrawn. The Knight of Pentacles then says, take one steady, practical step each day. Nurture yourself, stay patient, and trust that even small, consistent actions will lead to growth. Venus in Gemini will spark a more playful and curious approach to relationships. Expect a lightness in communication and a desire for intellectual connection. Mercury in Taurus will ground your mind, making you practical and deliberate in your communication, especially in financial or career matters. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, all in Aries, will stir a bold sense of self-assertion. This is a time for you to step into leadership, especially in spiritual or creative pursuits. Jupiter in Cancer adds a nurturing, protective energy, especially around home, family, and emotional security. So overall this week, balance that inner dreaminess with practical steps, trusting that bold action and nurturing care can work in hand. Stay connected to your creative and emotional potential like the Empress, but don't get lost in daydreams. Take a steady, patient approach like the Knight of Pentacles. If you feel detached or unmotivated, like the Four of Cups, gently bring yourself back by taking small, practical steps each day. In this way, you honor your inner world, but you also stay grounded in real-world progress. Balance imagination with steady action. Aries. This week, let go of old patterns. The week beginning May 4th brings a leap of faith. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Empress, the Fool, and the Hanged Man. The Empress is a card of abundance, nurturing, and creativity. She represents a deep, fertile energy where you're growing something beautiful, whether it's a project or a sense of self-love. The Fool is a card of new beginnings or a leap of faith. It's spontaneous, open, and reminds you to trust the unknown. And the Hanged Man, on the other hand, is about surrender, pause, and seeing things from a new angle. It's a card of letting go and gaining perspective through stillness. Putting these cards together, it's a story of a journey. The Fool says, take that first step, so trust the adventure. The Empress says, nurture it, allow creativity and abundance to bloom. And the Hanged Man asks you to pause, to surrender, and see where you need to let go of old patterns. With Venus in Gemini, your social life gets a boost. Expect flirty, witty conversations, especially in friendships or networking. Mercury in Taurus grounds your thinking. You'll be practical, especially around money or long-term planning. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, all in Aries, give you a surge of personal drive. This is a week to assert yourself, take action, but stay disciplined. Jupiter in Cancer softens things, though it brings a focus on home, family, and emotional expansion. It's a week of bold moves, but balancing that drive with a deeper sense of care for your inner circle. So overall this week, embrace the leap of faith like the Fool, but balance it with the Empress's nurturing, take action nature, but give yourself time to grow something beautiful. And when you feel that pause from the Hanged Man, don't resist it. Use it as a moment to reflect, let go of old patterns, and see what new insight emerges. Stay bold, but stay patient and trust that the big shifts are guiding you towards deeper growth. Taurus. This week, don't rush ahead blindly. The week beginning May 4th brings vision, leadership, and boldness. The cards drawn from the tarot are the King of Wands, the Chariot, and the Six of Swords. The King of Wands is a card of leadership, vision, and charisma. It's about taking decisive action, being confident in your creativity, and inspiring others to follow your lead. The Chariot represents willpower, determination, and moving forward despite obstacles. It's about harnessing opposing forces, staying focused, and steering your life with intention. And the Six of Swords is about transition and moving from difficulty towards calmer waters. It's a card of leaving behind something challenging, often mentally or emotionally, and moving towards a clearer, more peaceful future. Putting these cards together, it's an arc of transformation. The King of Wands gives you the spark igniting vision, leadership, and boldness. The Chariot is your drive, the focus, and the will to overcome any barriers. Then, the Six of Swords brings the resolution. After that determined push forward, you're guided into a calmer, more balanced space. Venus in Gemini loves variety and intellectual stimulation. It can create some tension. You prefer stability, however. Gemini flirts with change. There might be a push-pull between comfort and curiosity in relationships or values. Mercury in your sign, Taurus, is slow and steady. It's excellent for practical thinking, planning, and grounding ideas. This week, communication will likely favor thoughtful, concrete expression, which is great for your earthy energy. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in Aries is a powerful cluster. Mars in Aries is bold, impulsive, and driven, so there's a lot of action energy. Saturn in Aries brings some discipline to that drive, but can also push challenges or delays. Neptune in Aries adds a dreamy, idealistic overlay, so you could see bursts of inspiration, but also moments of impatience or confusion. That fire energy might feel like a need to break free from old patterns, but you might have to ground yourself. Jupiter in Cancer expands emotional security, home, and family matters. It could remind you to build a sense of peace and abundance in your personal foundation. So overall this week, trust your inner authority but stay grounded. Let the King of Wands remind you that you have the vision to lead, but don't rush ahead blindly. Use the Chariot's discipline to channel that energy purposefully. And when obstacles arise, let the Six of Swords guide you. Stay patient, knowing you're transitioning to a calmer, clearer place. Take practical steps, but don't lose sight of your bigger vision. Gemini. This week, stand your ground. The week beginning May 4th brings a sense of belonging. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Judgment card, the Ten of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. The Judgment card is a powerful symbol of awakening and transformation. It represents a call to rise above the past and a reckoning with your own potential. It's about being accountable and stepping into a new chapter with a sense of clarity and purpose. The Ten of Cups is the ultimate symbol of emotional fulfillment and harmony. It represents a happy family, a sense of belonging, and deep emotional satisfaction. It's a culmination of love, trust, and shared dreams. And the Seven of Wands is about standing your ground and defending your position. It often appears when you're facing opposition or competition. It says you need courage and resilience. You might have to keep fighting for your beliefs or defend your territory, but you have the strength to hold your own. Putting these cards together brings a rich narrative. Judgment calls you to a personal awakening, pushing you to evolve. The Ten of Cups shows that this awakening aligns with your emotional fulfillment. This is not just a personal shift, but it leads to a sense of harmony and joy with your loved ones. And the Seven of Wands suggests that this path won't come without challenges. You'll need to stand firm against doubts or opposition. Venus in Gemini brings a playful, intellectual charm to love and social interactions. You might feel more curious about new connections or ideas, eager to flirt or engage in witty exchanges. Mercury in Taurus stabilizes communication. Your thoughts are practical, grounded, and you prefer a slow, deliberate pace in how you express yourself. This is a good time to solidify plans or have a heart-to-heart about long-term goals. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in Aries create a powerful push forward. Mars in Aries fuels your drive and independence. Saturn adds discipline to that ambition, though it may feel challenging. Neptune in Aries infuses your drive with inspiration, but also asks you to stay aware of illusions. And Jupiter in Cancer expands your emotional world. This is a time of nurturing growth, especially in family and personal security. You might feel more protective or drawn to create a safe haven for yourself and loved ones. So overall this week, embrace the call to transformation with trust and self-awareness. Stay open to that inner awakening from judgment, but ground yourself in the reality of what fulfills you, like the Ten of Cups. When challenges arise, symbolized by the Seven of Wands, don't retreat. Stand your ground, be courageous, and protect the progress you're making. Keep your focus on long-term harmony, and remember that each small stand you take now builds the foundation for that emotional fulfillment. Cancer. This week, recognize the weight you're carrying. The week beginning May 4th brings a product of fear or self-doubt. The cards drawn from the tarot are the High Priestess, the Ten of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. The High Priestess is a symbol of inner wisdom, intuition, and the subconscious. She invites you to trust your inner voice, go beyond surface-level knowledge, and embrace stillness. She often appears when you need to pause, reflect, and connect to deeper truths. The Ten of Wands shows a heavy burden. You've taken on too much and are feeling weighed down. It's a reminder that you need to release some responsibilities or ask for help. Though you may be close to finishing a task, the weight is becoming too much, so it's a time to set some down. And the Eight of Swords is a card of restriction and feeling trapped, often by your own thoughts or self-doubt. You may feel powerless, but the truth is, the barriers are mostly mental. You're asked to recognize that you have more freedom than you think, and once you shift your mindset, you can untie those knots. Venus in Gemini brings a curious social charm to your romantic life. You might find yourself drawn to intellectual connections and more lighthearted exchanges, so be open to new conversations and networking, especially in love. With Mercury in Taurus, your communication is steady, practical, and focused on security. This means you'll likely feel more grounded in how you express yourself, great for setting clear plans or making financial or practical decisions. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in Aries gives you a lot of fire and initiative. Mars drives you to take bold action in your personal goals. Saturn adds discipline and long-term focus. And Neptune adds a dreamlike quality, so you can balance ambition with vision, but watch for impulsiveness. Jupiter in your sign Cancer brings a big boost for you, expanding your emotional world and offering growth through self-care, family, and your sense of belonging. It's a time when your emotional efforts can bear fruit, so stay open to expansion in how you nurture yourself and others. So overall this week, slow down and tune inward. The High Priestess urges you to trust your intuition and take quiet time to reflect before making big moves. Recognize the weight you're carrying and be willing to release what no longer serves you. If self-doubt or fear keeps you stuck, take small, practical steps, remembering that you have the ability to shift your perspective. Stay patient, and as you release burdens and trust yourself, clarity will come. Leo. This week, take decisive action. The week beginning May 4th brings a moment to own your vision. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Page of Swords, the King of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. The Page of Swords is all about curiosity, mental agility, and a thirst for knowledge. It's that fresh energy that wants to ask questions, seek the truth, and stay alert to new ideas, but it can also be a bit impulsive if not grounded. The King of Wands is a figure of leadership, vision, and charisma. He's the master of his element, fire. He is fiery, confident, and inspires others by his example. He takes bold risks, but he also takes responsibility for them. And the Wheel of Fortune is a card of cycles, fate, and change. It reminds us that life is a constant turning. There's a sense of destiny with events moving, and while you can't control everything, you can adapt, knowing the wheel will turn. Putting these cards together, there's a powerful narrative unfolding. The Page of Swords ignites a spark of curiosity, where you're at the edge of new ideas, eager to learn and communicate. The King of Wands steps in with leadership, telling you this is a moment to own your vision. So act with confidence, but stay connected to that original spark. And the Wheel of Fortune reminds you that all of this unfolds in the bigger cycle, where your curiosity and leadership are aligned with a turning point. With Venus in Gemini, Your relationships and desires are going to feel more playful and intellectual. Mercury in Taurus stabilizes your thinking, though, so you might find yourself balancing curiosity with a more practical approach, particularly when it comes to finances or values. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, all in Aries, bring a surge of boldness and initiation. Mars in Aries pushes you to take action. You're ready to start new projects or pursue passions with fire. Saturn in Aries adds a sense of discipline, helping you channel that energy into spiritual drive behind the new beginnings. And Jupiter in Cancer brings a nurturing expansion. This is a great time for home, family, and emotional security. So overall this week, stay curious but intentional. Lean into that Page of Swords energy. Ask questions, gather information, and don't rush conclusions. Then embody the King of Wands. Once you've got that vision, take decisive action. Keep your confidence steady, but be mindful of balance. And finally, trust the Wheel of Fortune. Stay flexible, knowing that even unexpected twists are part of the bigger journey. These cards invite you to boldly explore, lead your path, and trust the unfolding fate. Virgo. This week, stay open to new opportunities. The week beginning May 4th brings a sense of loss or regret. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Wheel of Fortune, the Five of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune is a card of fate and cyclical change. It's like a cosmic clock, and life is always in motion. It reminds you that even when things feel out of your control, a new cycle is about to begin. The Five of Cups is often a card of mourning. It shows a figure grieving, focusing on 3 spilled cups, yet 2 still stand behind them. This card asks you to recognize what's lost, but also what remains. There's still potential, even in the sadness. And the Queen of Cups is a master of emotional intelligence. She is deeply intuitive, empathetic, and in touch with her inner world. She invites you to honor your emotions, to be compassionate with yourself, and to trust your intuition. Putting these cards together, it tells a story of transformation through emotional depth. The Wheel of Fortune sets the stage. Life is shifting, and you're at a turning point. The Five of Cups highlights that this shift might come with a sense of loss or regret. Something has left you behind, and you may feel its absence. But the Queen of Cups steps in as a guide. She says, even in this sadness, you have the capacity to nurture yourself. You can flow with the emotions, let them move through you, and trust that, as the wheel turns, a new emotional wisdom will guide you. Venus in Gemini brings a charm to communication and social dynamics. You're drawn to intellectual connections, but stay aware of scattered focus. Mercury in Taurus grounds your thoughts. You're more practical, deliberate, and attuned to what's valuable. This helps you anchor any fleeting ideas. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, all in Aries, create a surge of drive, but also a need for balance. Mars fuels your ambition. You'll feel a push to take bold steps, especially in leadership or starting something new. Saturn in Aries offers a steady hand. Your discipline keeps that fire in check. Neptune in Aries adds inspiration. Your passion is linked to a bigger dream, but be wary of overextending. Jupiter in Cancer offers emotional expansion. This is a week where personal growth may come from family, home, or nurturing yourself. So overall this week, be patient with yourself as the cycle unfolds. Acknowledge the change. The Wheel of Fortune is nudging you to release attachment to what was. Let yourself feel the Five of Cups. Grieve what's leaving, but don't forget the Two of Cups still upright. Ground yourself with the Queen of Cups compassion. Nurture your emotions, but also trust your intuition. Stay open to new opportunities that will arise as this wheel turns, and know that your emotional compass will guide you forward. Libra. This week, ensure your next steps are practical. The week beginning May 4th brings a chance to build something real. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Fool, the Ace of Pentacles, and Hierophant. The Fool is the moment just before a new adventure. There's a sense of boundless possibility, but also a leap of faith. You may not see the full path, but you're being asked to trust your instincts. The Ace of Pentacles is a tangible seed. It could be a new job, financial start, or something you build over time. It's not an instant, but it's stable and real. And the Hierophant, in depth, is about aligning with tradition or spiritual archetypes. This card invites you to seek a mentor, join a structured belief system, or simply find wisdom in something timeless. Putting these cards together, it's like you're standing at the edge of a leap, a bold, uncharted step, but right behind that, a concrete opportunity isn't just chance, it's a chance to build something real and stable. And the Hierophant reminds you that, as you take this step, you're being asked to ground it in tradition, in a larger framework, maybe through a mentor, a spiritual practice, or a belief system. Venus in Gemini brings a light, curious energy to relationships, so expect more playful, intellectual connection, maybe some flirty sparks. Mercury in Taurus grounds your thinking, bringing a steady, practical mindset, so you'll be making decisions with a clear, patient logic. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in Aries fire up your drive. There's a strong, independent energy, but Saturn asks for patience, so don't rush. Neptune in Aries can blur boundaries, so stay mindful of impulsive actions. Jupiter in Cancer amplifies your emotional expansion. Home, family, and security take on a bigger focus. So overall this week, stay open to new beginnings but be intentional. The Fool invites you to take that leap, but don't rush. Stay grounded like the Ace of Pentacles and ensure your next steps are practical and tangible. At the same time, let the Hierophant guide you. Seek wisdom in a structure or a tradition, and don't dismiss the value of patience and long-term vision. By balancing spontaneity with grounded action and a sense of guided purpose, you can navigate this week with both courage and wisdom. Scorpio. This week, acknowledge the anxiety. The week beginning May 4th brings a sense of laying groundwork. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Three of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, and the Death card. The Three of Pentacles is about mastery through collaboration. It's not a solo journey, but one where each person's skill contributes to a shared goal. There's a sense of laying groundwork, being seen for your talents, and building step by step. The Nine of Swords is a stark contrast. It's the mental anguish that comes from fear of the future or guilt over past choices. It's often self-imposed, those late-night worries that drain you. And finally, the Death card isn't a literal end. It's about profound transformation. Something must die away, an old identity, a fear, a structure, so you can be reborn into something more aligned. Putting these cards together, it's a journey of transformation through collective effort but also deep inner struggle. The Three of Pentacles invites you to seek out collaboration and structure. There's a project or a goal that you're working on with others. But the Nine of Swords says this process is stirring up a lot of fear. Maybe you're worried you're not measuring up or that the work will fail. Yet, the Death card is the ultimate release. Once you confront that fear and let go of an old identity or pattern, you step into a new phase. Venus and Gemini bring lively communication, while Mercury in Taurus keeps you grounded in practical thinking. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune all in Aries give you a push towards bold action and spiritual growth. Mars brings energy to explore hidden motivations, Saturn adds structure and boundaries to that process, and Neptune blurs the line between dreams and reality. Jupiter in Cancer encourages you to focus on emotional security and inner growth, so balance bold steps with steady planning. So overall this week, stay anchored in that collaborative effort while being honest about your fears. Acknowledge the anxiety without letting it derail you. Break down your steps and focus on practical progress, even if it's small. And be willing to release what no longer serves you. Trust that, even through this discomfort, you're being guided towards a necessary transformation. Sagittarius. This week, align with your core values. The week beginning May 4th brings dreams, illusions, and choices. The cards drawn from the tarot are the Page of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. The Page of Pentacles is a card of curiosity, learning, and practical ambition. It's about starting a new venture, being a student of life, and laying a solid foundation. The Two of Cups is all about partnership, balance, and mutual attraction. It can reflect a deep emotional or even spiritual connection, where two people come together in harmony. And the Seven of Cups, by contrast, is a card of dreams, illusions, and choices. It suggests being at a crossroads, where many possibilities are laid out, but some may be illusions. Putting these cards together, A narrative emerges around potential and choice in relationships or creative endeavors. The Page of Pentacles grounds you in a curiosity to learn, take small steps, and build a tangible skill or foundation. The Two of Cups elevates this into a relational or emotional realm. This might be a budding partnership or a mutual project where shared values come alive. Yet, the Seven of Cups cautions you not to get lost in fantasy. There are many paths, but only some lead to real, grounded fulfillment. With Venus in Gemini, there's a social sparkle, where relationships and values may evolve through communications or new ideas. Mercury in Taurus grounds that communication, though, being more deliberate, patient, and focused on practical matters. Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, all in Aries, create a powerful burst of initiative. Expect an assertive drive, but also a need for self-discipline and spiritual vision, since Neptune softens that fire. Jupiter in Cancer adds a nurturing, protective expansion, with growth tied to home, family, and emotional security. So overall this week, stay grounded in your goals while remaining open to the possibilities unfolding in your relationships or creative ventures. Take deliberate, small steps, but ensure any partnerships or choices you make align with your values. Don't be impulsive. Use that Sagittarius intuition, but stay anchored in practical reality so you don't get swept up in illusions. Trust yourself and take each step with clarity.